today we're going to make pancakes. Pancakes are traditionally made on Pancake Tuesday, also known in Europe as Mardi Gras. It's a way of using up all sorts of odds and ends, and eggs in particular. It's a day before Lent. So if you're watching this, we're probably already into Lent, as Pancake Day was on Tuesday the 16th of February. So pancakes are really very easy, but you have to get the mixture right. So what we've got here is 100 grams of plain flour, which I've already weighed out. And I'm just going to take a bowl and just make a well in the middle. So you make like a hole in the middle. And then we're going to break 2 eggs into this. So I strongly suggest that if you're doing this with children, that you break the eggs individually into a bowl so that you don't get any shell, etc. in there. Like that. And then we're going to, and that egg gets dropped into the hole, into the well that we've made. There's the other one. Let's get rid of those. And that one goes into the middle as well. And then take the wooden spoon, or you can take a spatula, or you can take a whisk. I use a wooden spoon. And just gently break the eggs so the yolks are broken into the whites. And then gradually I start stirring and drawing the flour into the egg mixture, just like that. And into this flour mixture you want to add a little pinch of salt, which seems a little bit unusual if you're making sweet pancakes, but salt brings out the flavour in all sorts of things. So don't be afraid of using salt, even though I know people say don't use too much salt because it's not good for your blood pressure, etc, etc. If you want flavour, you do need to salt things. You can buy low salt, LO salt. So once you've incorporated all your egg into your flour, you start to add your milk. Now this is a mixture of 300 mils of milk and water. I usually do half and half. I think it makes a better pancake. So I'm pouring about a quarter of that straight into the dish, into the bowl. And I'm very, very gradually, slowly, not beating the heck out of it, I'm slowly breaking it up, sort of almost cutting it in so that it's gradually going into the flour, and at the same time I'm breaking up the lumps. And then once you've incorporated, you can start to really use a bit of elbow grease and start to mix well. And that's why sometimes a whisk is good, because a whisk will get all those lumps out if you haven't got elbow grease. And this is coming on quite nicely. You can see now, look how different that's looking. So I'm going to add another quarter of milk, and again slowly at first, and make sure you get everything from the outside in as well. So I tend to do the sides. See, and that's mixing in. Now it looks like it's a really, really light. You're thinking, how is that going to make my pancakes? But the flour will start to work with the eggs and the milk, and it will thicken slightly on sitting. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm just going to add the rest of that. That was a little bit ambitious, but, and it is very light and at the moment. But that's going to sit. Ideally you want it to sit between half an hour and an hour. Haven't got that time today, but we're going to let it sit for a little bit. Again, I'm just working my way around the edge to make sure I've got all the flour incorporated. I don't want any flour to miss out. So that's just going to sit there for a few minutes while we start prepping our filling. Now, you can do savoury pancakes and you can do sweet pancakes. So today we're going to do a mixture of the two. So the sweet pancakes, traditionally, you would, here's some I prepared earlier. You would take a lemon, you'd cut it down and produce wedges. So we've got the wedges here, just going to leave them on the plate. if you find that lemon's a little bit sharp, you could take an orange. So I've got an orange here that I've actually taken the rind off for something else, but that's fine because you don't want the rind, you want the juice. So I'm going to take the ends off and I'm going to cut it down the middle, like this. We're not going to use that half. And exactly the same thing, I'm going to cut some wedges. So I'm cutting it on a flat surface because I always think it's safer to make sure you've got a flat surface, which is why I did the top and bottom off. And this is a lovely juicy orange. So I'm really using this orange properly, having taken the rind off for probably a cake last week. And I'm just taking out these bits of the core in the middle. I don't really want that. And I'm just making that around the plate, make it look a bit pretty. So what else could you put in the middle of your pancakes? You can put honey, you can put golden syrup, you can put chocolate, you can chop banana. You can take an apple and cut it, peel it, cut it up, put it in a pan with a little bit of butter and a bit of sugar and caramelise it. And if we've got time, I might try and do that for you because that's a really lovely thing to do. So that's my sweet stuff. And then I've got the traditional sugar here, caster sugar, it can be any sugar, which will also go into the middle of my pancakes. So there's my sweet filling ready. And then we're going to do a savoury one. Now the savoury one needs a little bit of work doing to it. So I've got a red pepper. So I'm just going to take down a few of the bits of the sides, just like that. And then I'm going to cut it into strips, thin strips. I've got a pretty sharp knife here. And I'm just cutting down strips like that. You can put grated cheese in, you can put chicken in, you can put sliced ham or pieces of ham. You can put tuna, smoked salmon. You can even do, if you're really posh, you can do smoked salmon, cream cheese and avocado in a pancake. That's a really, really, really lovely breakfast or lunch type dish or brunch. So here are my red pepper cut nice and thin, as you can see, lovely and thin, ready to go. And then I've got some mushrooms here as well. I'm just going to take 3 or 4 mushrooms from my bag and make sure that they are clean. They've got no bits of earth on them. And just take the stalks and chop them down like that. Don't need to peel them, don't need to wash them. In fact, washing mushrooms is not a great idea because they go very wet and soggy. But wipe them down, give them a good wipe. A bit of kitchen paper is ideal. So I'm just cutting them down like that. Mushrooms have a huge amount of water in them. You can almost see as I'm cutting them, they're squidging down. These were pretty fresh mushrooms. Anyway, they will be very, very nice. So that's my veg prepped. Now I'm going to put my cooker on. And into that I'm going to put some butter. You can use oil, you can use butter, you can use a non-dairy spread. This is in fact a cooking and baking fat. So I'm not putting a massive amount in, I'm just putting a little bit in, 20-25 grams if that, into my pan. And I'm just going to let that melt down. So that's melting nicely. And into that, we're going to add the mushrooms. Oh, onions is also a very nice thing. Cut an onion up and fry that with all this. Or sweet corn. Lots and lots of things go with pancakes. Spinach and mushrooms, that's another lovely one. So this is just going to cook off for a few minutes. Just incorporate all that lovely butter into it so you get the flavour. Again, you could salt and pepper. What I'm going to do is I've got some herbs here and I'm just going to very gently pop some Italian herbs in here. Bought these ones in Aldi. You can sell a lot of these ones and they grind as they go, which is lovely. It makes it a bit fresher. That's really nice, got a nice smell to it. So there we are. You don't want to overcook this because you'll go into the pancake and then the pancake will go back into the frying pan. Excuse me. I think you can see that looks pretty delicious. And just turn it off. And I'm going to pop that into this pan here to cool off a bit. So I'm just going to wipe out the pan because we're going to be doing the pancakes in this pan, so we don't really want the mushroomy. But now I've got a really good heavy frying pan here, non-stick frying pan. So we know that my pancakes are not going to stick too much. But your first pancakes are always going to stick a bit. So we're back to the pancake mix. It has thickened a bit. You can feel as you give it another stir that it's settled a bit on the bottom. So I'm just stirring it round again, like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this butter, remembering that my pan is hot. And I'm just going to take a piece of kitchen roll. This is a different piece of kitchen roll, just to be careful. And I'm going to rub a bit of that butter all over. So that's melted in the pan, which is very nice. Otherwise, what you can do is you can melt some butter and then just dip your piece of kitchen roll in and out. So we're going to put this back on. Going to get the pan hot. You need to get the pan hot before you start cooking. If you don't have the pan hot, and I can now see some of the butter is beginning to sizzle. So again, a quick. Now this bowl has got a lid on it, so I can pour. Otherwise, get a ladle and pour with the ladle. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to pour from a height, not too close, and I'm going to pour that in until it pretty much covers the whole of the pancake mix, the pancake pan. And I'm just going to very gently let it fill the pan. I'm just going to keep twiddling it around a bit to get rid of, to use up all the loose pancake. You can just slightly lift an edge like that. It didn't like me lifting it up, that's why it's beeping at me. Now the first pancake is always the most difficult pancake. This one will stick. It doesn't matter what you do, your first pancake will always stick. So you have to be patient with it. And I'm waiting for it to start to show little bubbles around the edge of the pan. And it's also beginning to bubble up in the middle where it's cooking. I think it's pretty difficult for me to show you. You might be able to see the bubbles coming up, little bumps there. But I'm not going to, yeah, it's loosening up quite nicely around the edges as well. So the first one I definitely wouldn't try and toss. To work out which is the best of these spatulas to use. Right. If you've got little children, don't let them get their hands in. Now you can see that's a bit sticky and squidgy, and that's a bit of a disaster, which is what I told you it would be. Never mind, we can use that. We'll use it for something. There's an Austrian dish you can do, which has plums and brown sugar and and other bits and pieces, and you put it all into your pancakes, and then you chop, and then you put it on a plate and you serve it with whipped cream. So it wouldn't really matter if that's a bit of a disaster, because it's going to be chopped. So there we go. That one is, as I said, a bit of a disaster. However, we will persevere. So back onto the pan. You might find it easier to do that and less likely to burn yourself. I'm just going to turn this pan down a bit because it's very hot. And we'll try again with the next one. Straight away with a very, very hot pan, you can see the little bubbles appearing on the edge of the pan. This is going to be a better one. And I'm making them very thin pancakes because that's how I like them. You can make them thicker. If you want to make the mixture thicker, just add a little less milk. Obviously you're not going to get as many pancakes. I reckon I'm going to get 6 pancakes out of this. Obviously less one for disaster, but 6 pancakes will be fine for 2 of us, more than enough. 3 each, that will be maybe 2 savoury and 1 sweet, or 1 savoury and 2 sweet, or 1.5 of each. Now look, that's perfect. Okay, so I've got some parchment paper here, just because, and I'm going to layer mine up, hopefully, on the parchment paper. So there we are, there's one more. And I'm going to show you now how to fill them. So, I'm going to take our pancake, this one's going to be hot, but we're going to put it on the surface here. There we are. Lovely, lovely pancake. In fact, I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to turn it the other way. Just about. This is really, really hot and very, very fresh. And I'm going to take some lemon and I'm going to squeeze the lemon. Hopefully you can see that. Squeezing the lemon all over like that. And put a bit of orange in as well. Orange and lemon, lovely. Clementine. Or the bells of St Clements. And half a teaspoon of sugar. All over, lovely. Maybe a little bit more. And I am going to roll. So I'm literally just rolling, 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 rolling. Like that. I'm going to take the next one. I'm only going to do a couple for you. And this one, I'm going to turn it over. It's the advantage of using the paper is you can turn them over quite easily. And this one, I'm going to take some of the pepper and mushrooms. A bit pepper, a bit mushroom. Like that. Maybe a couple more mushrooms in there. Very nice. And I've got some grated cheese here as well. So I'm going to put some grated cheese in there. And now this one, I'm going to fold in half. I'm just patting it down a bit. Now either you can leave it in a semicircle like that because it's quite fat, or you can try and I'm just popping that back in the pan, which is still hot because my pan is hot. And I am going to take this dish, and here's my lemon and so I'm just twiddling it over like that. And then this, just letting the heat come back on. So what I want is the cheese to melt a little bit. And then you've got this really nice savoury pancake. That's really filling. And you just pop that out and then serve it with some salad or some vegetables or just on its own. And there I think you'll agree, you've got 2 lovely different dishes. Obviously that one, if you put apples or banana or chocolate sauce or something in it, you can make it fat like that. And there are your pancakes. So there are our pancakes for later today. So now we're going to just get rid of some of this, clean up a little bit. We are going to make an omelette. So we've got a lot of eggs, as I said to you before, we need to get rid of those eggs for Lent. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put 3 eggs into our bowl. 1, 2, 3. And as before, we're going to break them up in a bowl one at a time. If you've got several children, let them each have a bowl and break them up. There we are. Very, very quick and easy. So I'd sort of allow one egg per person with this recipe. There we are. Get rid of those. Now what you can do is you can add milk, you can add creme fraiche, you can add milk, water, whatever, into your dish here. So we need a little bit of salt, pepper if you like it. I'm going to use these herbs again because I really like herbs. Use fresh herbs if you've got any in the garden. As I say, these are Italian ones, so they've got a bit of garlic in them, they've got probably oregano or basil. It smells lovely. Shame with television, with videos and things that you can't actually see it. So here's my egg mixture, and I'm just roughly, beating with a fork. I don't need anything other than a fork. So everybody's got a fork at home. You use a plastic fork. And you can see how the eggs are changing, what they look like. So I'm just going to put a drop of water in there. And beat that up. Really, really quick and easy. This is a brilliant lunch, particularly if you've got children and they're at home, you're homeschooling, and you need to do something quick and easy. And you can make one big one. Use the same frying pan. You don't even have to clean it out. So a bit more of that butter. With an omelette, you probably want a little bit more than you did when you made the pancakes. So you want that flavour. And swirl it around to get that all melted. That's lovely, splashing away. Quick, one more quick. And then in it goes. Make sure you get all the egg out. So I tend to use a spatula, soft spatula, that I can then get all the egg out. Now, as that's starting to begin to bubble, what we need to do is we need to bring it in so that it gets nice and fluffy, and all the egg is cooking, but bringing it into the middle so the middle is getting nice and big and fluffy, and it's not like a scrambled egg. If you're making a scrambled egg, you'd be going like that, but this is just a very gentle. Be careful with these spatulas because they're not all oven or oven proof. So I could have done it with this, which isn't a proper oven proof. But this is one from Morrison's. Really good quality, really good handle. So here we have most of that egg now incorporated. Sorry about the beeping, but that's because I've got it off. Right, so I hope you can see that that's nearly all the egg yolk, egg mixture, all incorporated. It looks really lovely and fluffy. So while that is cooking, we're going to add some of our mushrooms and peppers that we made earlier. You can tell I like mushrooms and peppers. And also some of this melted cheese. So I'm going to put the melted cheese in. You can see what a lovely dish this is making. Again, you could put ham, chicken, tuna, spinach, a different pepper, whatever really. You can throw lots of different things into it. And this is just cooking out a bit more. I want the cheese to melt a little bit. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to very carefully, hopefully, I need to get underneath the, it's not quite cooked, that's why it won't do it. I need this to be crispy to be able to turn it. So what I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to turn it a bit. And I'm just squidging it down a little bit so that the cheese, the heat from the base of the pancake, the omelette, is melting down for you. I think that would feed 3 people quite easily, just cut it up. And there's the lovely soda bread that you've got in your recipe packs, and there's a recipe for the soda bread as well, and you've got some extra bread flour in your pack, so you can make your own soda bread with the milk that you've got left over and the egg. So actually you've got all the ingredients for making a soda bread in your pack, as well as ingredients to make pancakes and the omelette. So if you've got a family of 2 or 3 children, that will make lunches for a couple of days actually. If you have the pancakes one day and you have the omelettes another day, and then the bread will last a couple of days maybe, or maybe just the day, but you've got it. So there we are. Let's turn that off. Let's get my plate here, and let's hope I can turn that out. There we are. So here's your omelette, which I think you'll agree looks pretty nice. Nice bit of salad with that, or even baked beans, or half a jacket potato, and soda bread. That would be a very, very nice lunch. So thank you for watching and happy cooking. And don't forget to send in your pictures of what you cooked.